Arlington's problem with the homeless, 65% of the homeless in Arlington are single men and women. And of those, there are like 347 out of the 531 who were counted. Of the 347, 303 for 7 months of the year are living on the streets. That's astonishing. And it's astonishing when you think about we're such an affluent community, right? And I tell the story about a couple of weeks ago. I had to go to the office late at night, and I went down, and when I drove up where AFAC is, there's a concrete slab where ASPAN and AFAC are, and there were 9 men sleeping on this concrete slab. And when I got out of the car, they said, "Mrs. Executive Director, what are you doing here this evening?" Because that's what they call me for some reason, I don't know why. And I said, you know, I had to come and pick up some documents I had forgotten and stuff. And I said, you know, are you all doing okay? And they said yes. And I went inside and I went upstairs to the office. And they were a little embarrassed because it's embarrassing to be sleeping on the streets. And I was a little embarrassed because I had nothing to give them. I had water bottles. So I went upstairs and I got my documents and I went and got a bunch of water bottles and I brought them downstairs and I gave them to everyone. And the shelter was not open. I couldn't say, come on, I'll just take you all to the shelter, you know, for those of you who want to go. I didn't even have that to offer, because it was before November 1st. And so that really struck me, because as I was driving away, and I went to high school here in Arlington. I graduated from Yorktown, and I've lived in and out of Arlington for a long time. And I just thought to myself, this is not Haiti. This is Arlington, Virginia, right? And so, so that is the major issue that Arlington has. What we're lucky about in Arlington is we have, we're such a progressive community, right? And so people really do care. And one of the things that I'm very proud about in Arlington, and where the county government has been very focused, is there is no child living on the streets in Arlington. If through the schools, through other avenues, people find out that there is a homeless child, and by an extension, a family, they are immediately housed. We have 2 family shelters for children and families, and we have vouchers to put them up in motels. I mean, they're just, and I'm really proud of that as a citizen of Arlington, because I don't want any child to be homeless on the streets. And at the same time, my advocacy, though, has to be for those people who are not as cute as children. And you've seen them, and they're in the metro, and they're sleeping, you know, between buildings, and they're in the underpasses, and they're in the parks. And they're not cute. But they too are people just like you and me. And so that's really my mission, is that we have to do something in that for the homeless men and women who are living on the streets. And so, so we're working hard at that. And we're really trying to provide a year-round emergency shelter that's a low barrier shelter. So, you know, people can come, and unless they're a threat to themselves or to others, you know, we'll shelter them. So that you really want to get people housed first. And it's called the Housing First model. And I believe really strongly in it, because I've seen the difference that it makes. And we're working to get some extension on some of the housing benefits. And so there's a lot going on. But if we're really serious about ending homelessness in 10 years, and now it's only 8, because 2 years have already passed, then we have to get focused on that group. There is a really strong commitment in the county from the citizens, from the churches, from the businesses, from individuals, and from the county government and county staff. So, I mean, really, there are hundreds of people working on this issue in Arlington County, and there is a lot of support because it's a very progressive, committed, caring community. It just is. And so I feel very blessed. I've certainly been on lots of panels on different, different local stations, and with providers in other counties and jurisdictions. And I feel so lucky because we have a real commitment to providing for the safety net in Arlington County. So I think it was in 2008, the end of 2008, when things really started going downhill really, really significantly. Huge, big increase in numbers of people being served and everything. And really, our county government did a special in that budget at the end of the year. They did a special additional $500,000 for the safety net. And that's amazing. I mean, that no one else was doing that. The other thing that I'm really proud about for Arlington is that this past year, Arlington is one of the few counties around here who voted to have an increase, a tax increase, which is such a better way to do it. I mean, we had a budget deficit, and that's such a better way. It's the 10-year plan to end homelessness is a large group. And then under that is the implementation task force of that 10-year plan. And so the implementation task force has several different committees. They have the housing committee, they have the education committee and prevention committee, and lots of committees. And so the committees right now, I'm on the housing committee, and so we just met this morning because the guidance, the county board has just given the budget guidance to the county manager. And so we were going through that to see how that impacts us. And then what'll happen is now we'll start attending many of the hearings. And then what'll happen is each of us will individually be advocating for whatever it is we particularly need. And then at the same time, within the Arlington Nonprofit Network, we'll coalesce and sort of have a joint position about what we want. And so there's a lot of give and take on that, but it's a time of real advocacy. Again, though, we're lucky because there really is a commitment to the safety net. This is a very difficult time for so many people, and so there is a commitment to that, and so it's being realistic in terms of what you're asking for, right? You can't go ask out and say, oh, I need $1 million or something like that, right? You know, you have to be very specific, and you have to show what your outcomes are. I mean, it's gotten to be everywhere. If you get any grants from the federal government, if you get county grants, if you get funding from, everybody wants to know there's a lot of accountability in the system. And so they want to know where their money is going to, what it's being used for, and how many people were you able to help, and what are the outcomes that they got. And so so we're really, it's something that ASPAN is very good at doing. And so there's a county and federal database system that we all keep, and so we're really good about that. Every single person that you see on the street used to be, at one time, a very cute 4 or 5-year-old with the same hopes, wishes, dreams that all of us have. They had parents, they had a mother, they may have had a father in the picture, but they too were those really cute 4 and 5-year-olds. And there are things that happen in people's lives, and sort of detours in the road and things that happen, and really there, you know, but for the grace of God, go all of us, right? So, and we're so blessed.
Right.